Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. 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 We're going to kick up our feet when the week is done. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. 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 Good to see you. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Here we go. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. We're going to kick up our feet when the week is done. Now here's what we need for Shabbat every week. So I'm going to tell you, you're going to repeat it back at me. Nice and easy. First thing we need are candles. Candles. Kiddush. Challah.
Challah.
Brownies.
Brownies.
That makes Shabbat, right? Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. That's so good.
Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom.
Hey! Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. We're going to kick up our feet when the week is done. Let's see how you do this time. Ready? Here we go. Candles. Kiddush.
Kiddush.
Challah.
Challah.
Brownies.
Brownies.
Speed it up. Candles.
Candles.
Kiddush.
Kiddush.
Challah.
Challah.
Brownies.
Brownies.
Kiddush, challah, brownies.
Candles, Kiddush, Challah, brownies.
Candles, Kiddush, challah, brownies.
Candles, Kiddush, Challah, brownies.
Shabbat,
Shabbat, Shalom.
Nice job.
Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom.
Shabbat, Shalom.
Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom.
We're going to kick up our feet when the week is done. This is the last time. And really enjoy everything of Shabbat every time we say it. Think about it, visualize it, enjoy it. Here we go. Candles.
Candles.
Candles. Kiddush.
Kiddush.
Challah.
Challah.
Brownies.
Brownies.
Candles.
Candles.
Kiddush.
Kiddush.
Challah.
Challah.
Brownies.
Brownies.
Candles, Kiddush, challah, 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 brownies.
All right.
Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat,
Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. We're going to kick up our feet when the week is done. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. So every summer, you know that Debbie, Cantor Davidson, and I are really never here at the same time, at least here in San Pedro, because usually for 6 out of the 8 weeks of the summer, one of us is up at Camp Newman where we serve as faculty. And it really is the most special time, at least for many of us, of our year, having that time to be with our students, having the time to be at camp. Sometimes we have the chance to see some of our parents. I've been up there during Parents' Weekend a lot of times, and we get to hang out up there. And it really is a truly special place. So for those of you who have not been to Camp Newman before, we're going to try to give you a little bit of camp. We are tonight probably one of dozens, if not more, congregations throughout the West Coast who are having what's called a pop-up camp-style Shabbat service tonight. And maybe we're being seen from people on live stream. Hello, live stream. Excellent. There you go. Hi, guys. Welcome. Because as I think everyone has seen of what I've written this week, and it's been in the news, Camp Newman was one of the casualties of the catastrophic fires in Northern California. Probably about 40 or 50 of the 3,000, 3,200 structures that have burned up in Northern California were on the camp property. So as we go through this time of grief and mourning for the place that meant so much, we are bringing the spirit of camp here to Temple Bethel and to Rodef Shalom up in Marin and Bethel in San Mateo and probably Emmanuel in San Diego and University Synagogue here in Los Angeles and so many other synagogues. So for those of you who are unaccustomed or unfamiliar with camp, just join us, participate. Those of you who go to camp, you've been there every summer, raise your voices. You've got to teach everyone else how to sing and celebrate. What we have behind us is one of the features of camp every summer is that both adults and students, campers, students here, campers there, they write out these cards that say, because of camp, ... And it's a beautiful way to share how camp has really had a positive effect on their lives, on our lives. So these are just a few that are going through, some written by parents, some written by our campers. And also on the board outside, you'll have the opportunity, if you don't have anything up here, to write because of camp, whether it's because you went, or because you sent your child there, or because you sent your grandchildren there, or great-grandchildren. We're able to have that beautiful way of celebrating.
And also whether it was Camp Newman or Camp Swig or Camp Saratoga or Camp JCA Shalom or Camp Hess Kramer or Hilltop, whichever camp you went to or were a part of in the Jewish camping world, we want to know how it changed you.
Is there anybody here who went to Camp Saratoga? That was like the precursor.
We lived very close to Astor.
Okay. Okay, so you lived, yeah.
We went on a weekend.
Oh, terrific. And before Camp Swig was Camp Swig, it was called Camp Saratoga. That was like, so did you, so oh, there you go. So Frankie, Swig, so Saratoga, Swig, and maybe someone in the future at Newman. So before we actually continue our service, Ruben Arkulovich, who is the executive director of Camp Newman and of West Coast Camping, shared a Facebook message today that we just want to share as we enter into our time tonight. And it's followed by the camp blessing, which you'll see in a moment.
This is a very hard time. I wish I could be with all of you face to face, to lend a shoulder to cry on and to shed tears together. I am so deeply moved knowing how thousands of you have and are gathering together to support one another. After all, we all know that camp is the people, the community, and the utopian experience we have created over the decades. Each and every one of you brought your divine gifts and created camp. And that goes on. Therefore, camp goes on. Camp continues in your friendships, celebration of Jewish values and life, Shabbat, blessings, your best selves, and our collective memory. While our camp home has been consumed by flames, and while we hurt and mourn, the fire of love for our camp community just grows stronger. And when we will use this strength, from strength to strength, to carry on. I look forward to seeing all of you for Camp Newman Summer 2018, and to singing and dancing and playing and praying and laughing with you all. And for joining you in our weekly Shabbat blessing for our children and for the child in us all. Shabbat Shalom.
Every Friday night in Jewish homes across the world, parents bless their children. At Camp Newman, each Friday night we adapt this blessing to bless you, our campers, in the Camp Newman style. So, staff or parents, please raise your hands above the heads of your children or place them on your children's heads or on their backs and repeat after us. Yivarachecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and watch over you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha.
May God's face shine upon you and be very good to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God be with you always and grant you and me and the whole camp and the whole world with the blessing of peace.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Yai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, lai, lai. Ya lai, la, lai, lai. Ya lai, la, lai, lai. Ya lai, la, lai, lai. Ya la, lai, ya la, lai. Ya lai, la, lai, lai. Ya lai, la, lai, lai. Ya lai, la, lai, lai. Ya la, la, lai. Ki va moed. Ki va moed. Ki va moed. Ki va moed. Ya lai, lai. Ya lai, la, lai, lai. Ya lai, la, lai, lai. Ya lai, la, lai, lai. Ya la, lai, ya la, lai. Ya lai, la, lai, lai. Ya lai, la, lai, lai. Ya lai, la, lai, lai. Ya la, la, lai. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Ya lai, lai. Ya lai, la, lai, lai. Ya lai, la, lai, lai. Ya lai, la, lai, lai. Ya la, lai, ya la, lai. Ya lai, la, lai, lai. Ya lai, la, lai, lai. Ya lai, la, lai, lai. Ya la, lai. Shabbat shalom.
Also, during our service tonight, as one of the customs at camp is oftentimes campers will give a little reflection before one of the prayers. So we have some of our Temple Bethel campers who will be sharing tonight as well. Tonight's also a very special night as well because this month we celebrate the 90th birthday of our beloved Marty Cohn. I was going to say the 41st anniversary of her 39th birthday. That was, but I thought I might get the math wrong when I was trying to do it that way. And Marty, what a blessing you are to our community, and for us to be able to share this special moment with you. It wasn't that long ago that we celebrated you becoming bat mitzvah as an adult again here on this bima, and here we are 7 years later for this special occasion. You are joined by your daughters, Randy and Judy, and as you lead us in the blessing of the candles, bringing light and life into the sanctuary, I invite us to please turn to page 121.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Give it to Ezra. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Candles. Right? Okay. Kiddush. Page 120. I guarantee by the end of the service we'll get to brownies. Page 123. I invite you to please stand if you're able for Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'rasavanu v'shabat kodsho be'ahav ratzon l'inchilanu zikaron lemaaseh bereishit ki hu yom tefillah lemikra'ei kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'tanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabat kodshcha be'ahava u'beratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabat. Amen. Chaim.
Before we continue, please take a moment to greet those around you, wishing them Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. A hearty Shabbat Shalom to you. And Shabbat Shalom to you, sir. And Shabbat Shalom to you, sir.
How good and pleasant it is when brothers and sisters dwell together, and all the campers come together as well. Hine Ma Tov. Selection by Rick Recht, one of Camp's popular musicians in residence.
Page 128.
That's it, what you did. Actually, I thought I did. It's okay.
Hine
know
ma
words.
tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma 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 tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Page 131.
Shiru l'Adonai kol ha'aretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Shiru
We welcome the Sabbath bride with the words of Lecha Dodi on page 138.
La 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekam elai, ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 la, penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekam elai. Shamor v'zachor, b'dibur echad, hishmi'anu el hamichad. Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet, v'litilat. Ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 la, penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekam elai. Likrat Shabbat, lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor haveracha. במחשב התחילה יא לי יא לה 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 lecha dodi, יא לה 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 likrat kala, יא לה 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 penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekam elai. Hit'oreri, ki ba'orech, kumi ori, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai, alayich niglat. Ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekam elai. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, יאללה לי, יאללה לה 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 lecha dodi, יאללה לה 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 likrat kala, יאללה לה 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 penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekam elai. יאללה לה 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 lecha dodi, יאללה לה 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 likrat kala, יאללה לה 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 penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekam
is on page 146.
Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai
I'd like to invite Sophia Perry to share a reflection before Ma'ariv Arvin.
Every night before Camp Newman goes to bed, each session participates in Siyum. Our nightly ritual of singing the Hashkivenu provides the perfect ending to a day filled with fun and laughter. Thanking God for our shelter of peace, we come together with our arms wrapped around each other. The memories I treasure of laying down Siyum, in the pool Siyum, whisper Siyum, and at the star Siyum create a lovely community of warmth, love, and peace that sustains me throughout the school year until I can finally return to my home, Camp Newman. Thank you.
On the screen, we roll into dark, we roll into light.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, kolel or mipnei choshech, kolel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, kolel or minei choshech, kolel or minei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
We close our eyes and we turn inward to sing the words of Shema Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael,
seated. We're on page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Jordan Davidson will share a reflection before Mi Chamocha.
Camp Newman is a great place to express yourself. I was asked to talk about how camp has made me feel free. At camp, I feel physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally free. I am a different person at camp. I am free to express myself and not be known as the Cantor's kid who knows everything about being Jewish. I am still finding my Jewish identity, and at camp, I have people with me who are going on the same journey. Camp makes me stop and think about life, and when I share my thoughts and feelings, I am not judged. I can be loose and be me. At camp, I'm not the person that you see before you today. I am much more than that. I goof off and I act like a little kid while still being mature. I am full of contradictions. One day I think I'm totally here and ready for the world, and the next I want to hang out in the cabin and play cards. I know it sounds weird, but that's who I am. I'm the weird girl that sometimes knows too much and has a twisted sense of humor. That's who I like to be, and I'm able to be that girl when I'm at Camp Newman. Newman makes me feel free.
Page 158. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, מלכותך רב בניך, חוקי הים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, זה אלי Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osei velei, Nora tehilot osei velei, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. ונאמר כי ועד אדוני את יעקב, יעלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
When the site for Camp Newman was purchased a little over 20 years ago, it was basically a concrete jungle. I'm going to look to Karen to make sure that I'm saying this right, because she was with Reuben when they saw that site. Previously it was a cooking facility training for the merchant marines. And basically it was barrack-style housing, which remained until a couple of years ago, but lots of concrete and very few trees. But over the last 20 years, Reuben Arkulovich, the executive director, always had a vision. Even before the new buildings, it was, how do we plant more trees and get rid of concrete? And over the years, smaller saplings of redwood trees would just begin to grow and grow and grow. And that would provide this canopy, this shelter from the hot sun. The summers up there could be very, very warm. Anyone who was there in 2006 knows how hot it was that summer, right, Rachel? And the canopy, the shelter of peace that the trees provided, gave respite from the heat, the sun, and made a place where we could spend our days outside. On Shabbat, we would take those canopies of trees and kind of bring them into the Beit Tefillah, into the place where we would pray on Friday nights. And as we would prepare to sing Hashkivenu, the nighttime prayer, in which the words tell us that we spread a shelter of peace, a canopy of peace, over all who were there, the counselors and staff would spread talitot over the heads of the campers, providing that Sukkot Shalom, and Debbie and Gail are doing some for some of the kids over there. And they'll demonstrate exactly sort of what happens up there. Now, when we do it in here, it's nice, not quite the same. But the reason why I tell the story about the trees and the shelter that they provide throughout the course of the week is because when I saw some of the photos of the devastation of camp, a lot of burned down buildings, the one thing that I did see were the trees were still standing. And they were charred and burned, but they were still standing, and there was even some green on them. And that gave me a tremendous amount of hope to say that if the trees survived, then camp would survive. And that shelter of peace that is over Camp Newman now, even in its destruction, even in its rubble, will help to bring that sense of peace and safety and security back. So we'll sing the camp-style Hashkivenu, which you can find on the screen behind, I think, yes? Mm-hmm. We'll share these words.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us from wrong from right. Amen. 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 Baruch atah, atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom. Shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Teilo mishelo baruch atah, atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
Page 162.
V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם בריתולם. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריתולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריתולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת.
Praying at camp is a different experience that's hard to describe. It's hard to imagine what praying through yoga or playing while throwing a frisbee is until you actually do it. Even though the prayers are the same, every day there's something new, something unexpected, and something different. Whether we're praying in the Pinat Tefillah or praying on the upper field, there's always a surprise.
I wish that we would have surprise in our prayer right here. I wish I could just throw a frisbee around and pray that way. What?
I just had to look. You know?
Oh, you had to look, yes.
You never know when there could
You
be
never know
something.
what's under here, right? But as we enter into our time of prayer together, we begin on page 164. We'll share the first three blessings together. Then we'll have an opportunity to pray the words of our tradition through page 180, or simply turn inward and offer the prayers of our heart. I do want to point out that yesterday we made this seasonal switch in the Giverot prayer, the second prayer, from the words of Morid Hatal, God who brings down the dew, we say that in the summertime, to the prayer Mashiv Haruach Morid Hagashem, God who causes the wind to blow and the rains to fall. My prayer right now is that God will ignore the part of the blowing winds in Northern California. but will bring some humidity and bring some rain and help to bring these awful, terrible fires out of control. So I know I myself, when I get there, I'm just going to say Umorid Hagashim and leave the first part out, so you can join me if you'd like. We're on page 164. Please stand if you are able.
Anananananana svatai tiftach. Anananananana ufiagi teilatecha. Anananananana Adonai. Anananananana svatai tiftach. Ananananana ufiagi tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotzeinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Velohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Vehanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vezocher Chastei Avot V'Imaot Umevi Gula Livnei Bneihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atah Le'Hoshia Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem Mechalkel Chayim B'Chesed Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Novlim Ve'Rofech Cholim U'Matir Asurim U'Mekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot U'Mido Melach Melech Memit U'Mechayeh U'Matzmiach Yeshua V'Ne'eman Ata Le'Hachayot HaKol Baruch Atah Adonai Mechayeh HaKol Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh U'Kdoshim B'Chol Yom Yahalelucha Selah Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Please pray silently.
ratzon im reifim reifim ve'yon libi lefanecha yiyu leratzon im reifim reifim ve'yon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri ve'goali Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri ve'goali Yiyu leratzon im reifim reifim ve'yon libi lefanecha Yiyu leratzon im reifim reifim ve'yon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri ve'goali Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri ve'goali May the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you. Yiyu leratzon im reifim reifim ve'yon libi lefanecha.
We'll take a moment now to offer Misha Berach L'Refuah, a prayer for all those who are in need of healing, healing of body, or mind, or spirit. Before we sing together as a community, if you'd like to stand for a moment or get my attention and say aloud the name or names of those for whom you are praying the Shabbat, I invite you to do so too. Jody? Elliot? Thanks. Jordan? Joey? Thanks. Hannah? Steve? Jim? Ruth Ann? Can't see your Ruth. Jim? Thanks.
Those affected recently by disasters, man-made and natural.
Maybe 1%.
Bob? Thank you. Sorry. Ezra? Mark Roth and Kaner Roth. For all those named and those whose names we hold in our hearts, and especially, as many have said right now this week, especially those who are suffering most from loss of property or loss of family in Northern California, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, Florida, Texas, throughout the world. We lift our hearts in prayer.
Blessed are you, God, whose healing presence is with all those in need. Amen.
In just a moment, we will continue with Seder Kriyat HaTorah, our service for the reading of Torah, in this week's parashah, Parashat Breshit, in the beginning and marking new beginnings. Just to let you know, the Aliyah, I will invite all those who are alumni of Camp Saratoga, Camp Swig, or Camp Newman, or are the parents of alumni or current students of Camp Swig, or Saratoga, or Newman. I'm not sure how many people are going to be left in the congregation. However, if you'd like to make your way up to the bima, if you need a little bit of extra time while we are marching the Torah throughout the congregation, feel free to. If you'd like to grab a talit, feel free to. You don't need to, but if you'd like to. But know that we want to honor all those who have that direct and personal connection with our camps. Page 362.
אין כמוך אלוהים אדוני ואין כמעשיך מלכותך מלכות כל עולמי וממשלתך בכל דור ודור אדוני מלך אדוני מלך אדוני אלוה לעולם ועד אדוני עוז עמו ייתן אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום אב הרחמים היטיבה ברצונך את ציון תבנה חומות ירושלים תבנה חומות ירושלים כי לפתחנו מלך אל רם ונישא אדון עולמי כי מציון תצא תורה כי מציון תצא תורה ודבר אדוני מירושלים ברוך שנתן תורה תורה ברוך שנתן תורה תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד אחד אלוהינו גדול אדוננו קדוש שמו כהלול אדוני איתי ונרוממה שמו יחדיו לך אדוני הגדולה הגדולה והתפארת והנצח וההוד כי כל בשמיים ובארץ כי כל בשמיים ובארץ לך אדוני הממלכה ואני נעשה לכל ערוז Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Baruch atah Adonai מצוותיו וציוונו לעסוק בדברי תורה, לעסוק בדברי תורה. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu לעסוק בדברי תורה, לעסוק בדברי תורה. One more time. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue.
Please be seated. I just said to the cantor, I said, I hope that we can find where we are because, you know, starting a fresh sheet, yeah. All right. So, Steve, what's the joke? What's the joke about this? The baseball. And what is it? Want to just say what the joke is? In the big inning, right, exactly. So I think for the Cubs was the seventh inning last night, right? So. What? Yes, no, exactly. It's a very big inning. Yes, indeed. So the parsha for this Shabbat is Parshat Bereshit, the very first portion in the very first book, in the very first book of the Torah, starting with the very first word, Bereshit, in the beginning, in a beginning, when God was beginning to create. There's so many different ways I could create an entire Devar Torah just on the first letter of the Torah with the letter Bet. But I think that one of the lessons that we learn tonight, especially for this Shabbat, as we think about new beginnings, is that even when we need to create something out of nothing, which is exactly how the world was created according to this text, we know that in time, a beautiful world, a beautiful place, a beautiful vision emerges as we see through the way that God spoke the earth and the world into being. And my hope and my prayer is that at this season of new beginnings, and as Camp Newman and URJ camping on the West Coast faces a new beginning, that through words, through hard work, through our actions, through our contributions, through anything that we can do, we will make a big, beautiful Camp Newman world emerge out of whatever is left or whatever nothing, and make it emerge once again even bigger and better and more beautiful. So for the...
It's always a hard one.
Exactly. And again, for the honor of the Aliyah, I invite all those who have either attended as a camper, Camp Saratoga, Camp Swigger, Camp Newman, or who's the parent of a camper. We have those connections. Ya'amdu, la'aliyah la Torah.
Come on over, folks. I love it. In case we ever wondered how wide a swath camp makes in our community, this is incredible.
Anybody need?
Easy to find your place here.
A little bit. It's a little wrinkly, though. All right, folks. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Baruch hu et Adonai havorach. Baruch Adonai havorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. בראשית ברא אלוהים את השמיים ואת הארץ, והארץ הייתה תוהו ובוהו וחושך חפת על פני המים. ויאמר אלוהים ויהי אור, וירא אלוהים הבדל אלוהים בין האור ובין החושך. ויקרא אלוהים קרא לילה ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר יום אחד. נותן התורה.
Before I left the Torah, when I was talking to Marty earlier today, we were talking about this Aliyah, and she said, you know, you were on faculty, right? You said you were faculty at Camp Swig back in the day, so you have obviously this, maybe not a camper there, but obviously a long connection to the camp as well. And Frankie, you said that you went to Camp Saratoga. Okay, so.
Why aren't you up here?
Yeah, really. Now, were you there when they were up at Lake Tahoe, or when they was actually in Saratoga itself? Saratoga. In the town of Saratoga. So a very long history. We celebrated 70 years of URJ camping on the West Coast this summer, and we're looking forward to the next 70 years and beyond. On page 370, I think it is. Yes, please stand if you're able for Hagbah as I lift, and Galila as I lift the Torah, and you can see, you should be able to find the words that Cantor Davidson shaded.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. וזאת התורה וזאת התורה וזאת התורה אשר שם משה וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל, לפני בני ישראל. וזאת התורה, 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 וזאת התורה.
Go grab the crown. Hopefully. Yeah, it's always tough. We'll wait for the crown later. We'll put the crown later.
I got it.
There you go. The crown was designed for Vayikra.
Page 374. Yahalelu et Shem Adonai, ki nisgav shemo levado. Let us praise the name of Adonai, for God's name alone is exalted. On page 375, we pray responsively, especially those who have the words in front of them. When Torah entered the world, freedom entered it. The whole Torah exists only to establish peace.
Do not do to any person.
That is the whole Torah. All the rest is commentary. Go and learn it. Those who study Torah are the true guardians of civilization.
Honoring one another, doing acts of kindness, and making peace. These are our highest duties. But the study of Torah is equal to them all because it leads to them all.
Together, let us learn in order to teach. Let us learn in order to do. Shabbat Shalom. How can we see light through the darkness? How can we respond to catastrophe? I seem to be asking myself this question every day. After I notice myself after watching Hurricane Irma decimate the Caribbean and parts of Florida. I know of Puerto Rico, leaving her without power, water, darkness. I know myself asking and responding after the massacre in Las Vegas that took the lives of 58 innocent souls. Including Lomita's own Patterson. And I noticed myself asking and responding after the cataclysmic fires that 5 homes of the members of the URJ congregation shown Torah, and at least 3,000 homes. For several weeks, we have been requesting donations of gift cards. First for Harvey, then for Irma, then Maria. We need to ask for a stockpile community that faces catastrophe. About the emotional and psychological toll of all these catastrophes, who thus far, in some ways it feels like the world around us is burning, shaking, or flooding. You know Houston has a problem when they've experienced their third once in 100 years flood in the past 5 years. When the combination of unprecedented land carry burning, you know something is wrong. Agreement, an international treaty that seeks to mitigate the effects of global climate change, was good for America. You know something is wrong when natural disaster after natural disaster descend upon our beautiful country, destroying cities and towns in its path. You know something is wrong when we view life through a dark and murky haze. How then can we see the light through the darkness? Before looking forward toward the future, Jews always look toward our past, deriving lessons and inspiration from the sacred texts of our people that have guided us for thousands of years. A famous midrash describes through a parable what happened to Avram after God called him to leave all that was familiar. And yes, I know that this is about a Torah portion in 2 weeks, but it makes sense tonight. Avram came upon a birah doleket, a palace alit, and its owner apparently nowhere to be found. Rabbi Isaac said, this may be compared to a man who was traveling from place to place when he saw a birah doleket, a palace alit. Is it possible that the palace lacks a person to look after it? He wondered. At that moment, the owner of the palace peeked out and said, I am the owner of the palace. So it was with our father Abraham, Rabbi Isaac says, who said, is it possible the world is without a guide? At that moment, the Holy One, blessed be God, peeked out from the doleket birah and said to him, I am the guide, the master of the universe. What exactly did Avram see? What was this birah doleket, this palace alit? Some say that the palace was emanating light, shining brightly, while others suggest that the palace was engulfed in flames. Rabbi Cheryl Peretz describes the first image as a beautiful world. God is the creator whose powerful light shines in beauty and magnificence. In the other, the world is in flames, engulfed in evil and destruction. A simple theology would suggest that God appears only in the light, but is absent in the destruction. But Jewish theology is complicated. We often ask after catastrophes, natural or man-made, where was God? Our world has both good and evil. But we don't have a God for good and a God for evil. We have just one God. And that means that God resides among the evil and destruction, just as God shines through the light. We see this in the second part of the Midrash. Avram sees the birah doleket, the palace all aflame, and asks, where is its caretaker? As the palace burns, it seems that there is no presence of God until suddenly God peeks out and says, I am the guide, the master of the universe. God is present even in the midst of destruction. Our Torah portion this week reminds us that we are created in God's image. And therefore we have a sacred responsibility to live in this complicated God-made world, which is oftentimes beautiful and oftentimes ugly. And we live here with opened eyes, aware of suffering, and our hands ready to respond. We are living in the midst of what feels like an unprecedented streak of disasters. Ugliness is abundant. Coming just 2 weeks off of Yom Kippur, the words of who shall live and who shall die ring loudly in our ears. Who by fire? Who by earthquake? Who by flood? Who by gunshot? Despite all of this, we maintain that God doesn't cause disaster, but rather God is in the light that emerges from the disaster. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel helps us better understand as well when he writes, "One may look upon the world with enthusiasm and absorb its wonder and radiant glory. One may also see and be shocked by its ugliness and evil. The prophet Isaiah heard the angels proclaim, 'The whole earth is full of God's glory.' Job, however, maintained that the earth is given to the power of the wicked." Both beauty and ugliness prevail in our world, and we live in the midst of it all. We see the destruction, but we also see God's glory illuminating the palace for the brave first responders in Santa Rosa. While many of their own homes burned to the ground, they were fighting fires, tending to the ill and infirm, knocking on doors, warning neighbors to evacuate now. We see God's glory lighting the palace in the heroic actions of Christine and David Reiter. Christine is the year-round events coordinator for Camp Newman and lived on site. When she and her husband were warned in the middle of the night to evacuate immediately, their first response was to rescue the Torah scrolls before they took care of their own belongings. Sadly, their home was among the dozens of Camp Newman structures to burn to the ground. We see God's glory lighting the palace of Congregation Shomrei Torah in Santa Rosa, where my dear friend Rabbi Stephanie Kramer and Rabbi George Gittleman are providing food, shelter, and provisions for the entire community. We see God's glory and light in the outpouring of support, love, donations, resolve, and hope from the thousands who have been touched by the power and magic of Camp Newman. And we see God's glory radiating from the points of the Magen David, the Jewish star perched high above camp, still affixed to its rock, unscathed, a symbol of strength and protection and resolve to fight back and rebuild. In the weeks and months and even years ahead, may we be like Abraham. May our eyes remain wide open to the world around us and notice what burns. When we see destruction, may we respond. May we feel God's presence in the light, acknowledge that God is in the flames as well, but is directing us to use our light to bring light to others. And may we remember, as Rabbi Peretz teaches, in the light, God can be beautiful and good, and is the creator who makes it all possible. From the depths of pain and challenge, God remains a source of hope, a source of inspiration, and a source of comfort, reminding us that the impossible can be possible, that fear can become hope, and darkness can become light. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. Representing the Board of Directors on our Bema tonight is Andrea Lawrence. And we're very grateful that game 1 is tomorrow night, not tonight, so we have you here with us.
Maybe the only reason. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here this evening representing the Board of Directors. And Elan, he's going with me tomorrow night. Go Dodgers. Many thanks to Marty Cohn-Spiegel for hosting our celebratory Oneg Shabbat. And Marty, we wish you and we celebrate you a very happy and healthy birthday. So for everybody, please remember to visit the Sisterhood gift shop. Following our service, we have a lot of great activities coming up, and we hope to see you at many of them, such as I Engage Foundations for a New Relationship. The course is going to begin next Thursday, October 19th, with Cantor Davidson. The course is designed to elevate the conversation about Israel through video lectures, text study, and group discussion. Please reserve your place with Carrie at the TBE office. On Wednesday, October 25th, Temple Bethel, along with our friends from Ner Tamid, Temple Menorah, and Congregation Tikva Jacob, are hosting a wonderful program called One State, Two State, Moral Red Lines. The speaker is the president of Shalom Hartman Institute, Rabbi Daniel Hartman. The program will be hosted at Temple Menorah in Redondo Beach. So for any additional information and to register, please contact Temple Menorah. And finally, we're very excited for our upcoming gallery installation called Art of Community, showcasing artists from our community. The gallery opening will be held here at TBE with a wine and cheese reception on Thursday, October 26th at 5:30 p.m. There's no charge, but reservations are truly appreciated. So please contact Carrie at the TBE office to make your reservations. And Shabbat Shalom, go Dodgers.
And I think that Elliot and I will also say, go Astros. Our concluding prayers begin with Aleinu on page 586. Please stand if you're able.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגואלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד
Seated. On page 594. Why should I wish to see God better than this day? I see something of God in each hour of the 24, and each moment then. In the faces of men and women I see God, and in my own face in the glass. I find letters from God dropped in the street, and everyone is signed by God's name. And I leave them where they are, for I know that wheresoe'er I go, others will punctually come forever and ever. If you are remembering someone this Shabbat, either a period of Shiva, Shloshim, or Yortzeit, when I recite that person's name, Please stand if you are able and remain standing until all the names have been shared. And together we will stand as a community to recite Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, on page 598. We continue to mark Shaloshim, the first 30 days of remembrance for Jan Marchetti. And we remember those who died at this season in years past, whose Yort Seitan fell this week, and whom we remember by name tonight. Harriet Allen, Betty Bernstein, Zelda Billen, Edward Carlin, Jacob Chop, Jack K. Cohen, Marilyn Dollinger, Ruth Driver, Raymond Epperhart, Beatrice Feiner, Edwin Fine, Miriam Gallant, Harold Gassner, Ida Itzkovitz, Eugene Kirshner, Albert Hutler, Lenore Hutler, Irving Leibowitz, Arlene Makovsky, Albert Malky, Joseph Morris, Mary Myers, Rhea Pellman, Isidore Pike, Samuel Pazin, Gussie Press, Arlene Rash, Jack Rome, Bertha Rosen, Sigmund Ross, Morris Rudikoff, Gerald Shom, Bernice Schwiro, Linda Shulkin-Nail, Saul Schulman, Solomon Siman, Dr. Philip Summerstein, Sarah B. Turek. We also remember all those who perished in the fires up in Northern California this week. And to these names, we add any of those names that I neglected to share. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, may the memory of all of our righteous ones be for a blessing. Please stand if you are able as we join together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ulamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei d'kudashah b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechemata. Da'amiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, amen. If you are a camper at Camp Newman, please join us on the bima for Oseh Shalom. You know this version from the last few years. All campers only, just campers.
Oh, say shalom, big Roma. Oh, say shalom, big Roma. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom, aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oh, say shalom. Oh, say shalom. Shabbat shalom.
One thing left before brownies.
Challah.
Trying to turn the beam up. Well, this broker's up here. We'll touch the ball.
Ooh. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, Shabbat shalom. All right.
Candles, images of brownies.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Soretta. We miss you. Go Orange. Good win tonight.